Sprinting drills are so helpful for many of the distance runners that come to see us at CHP for help with a variety of different issues, whether that's knee pain, foot ankle issues, plantar fascial issues. And they're really helpful because sprinting requires certain things that we often can compensate around when we're running for distance. My colleague, Dr. Alex here, is doing a great job demonstrating some of these drills that we often demonstrate to our patients and our athletes. So this drill here is an A-skip. So what Dr. Alex is going to do is he's really, if you look and I pause it at any point, his knee right here is in front of his body. He's constantly picking his leg up, putting it down. And if we use the seam of his pants, this midline seam of his pants as a benchmark, his leg never gets behind that. So what he's doing is he's emphasizing and utilizing his front side mechanics. He's keeping his legs on the front side of where the seam of that pants are. He's not letting his foot get very far behind his leg. And the reason that's important is we often see many of our patients have a ton of stuff going on back here behind their body. You see, if I'm standing behind Alex and he's running with excessive backside mechanics, excessive amount of stuff happening behind the seam of his pants, I'm going to see a great deal of the back or bottom of his shoe. And what that's going to facilitate is it's going to cause him to have this big whipping action when he brings his leg back out in front of him, causing him to strike way far out in front of his body. And that's what can cause a lot of stress in a variety of different areas. It's going to cause a lot of ground reaction forces when there's a great deal of force going back into his body because he's essentially stopping himself every time his leg gets out in front. And then he's got to counter or overcome that action. And this drill helps to get us really comfortable having our legs and our knees up in front of our body, lifting our knees up more when we run so we can be a little bit more bouncy and explosive when we run, like a lot of the elite level sprinters and athletes we see on TV. So as you can see, Alex has his legs constantly in front of his body here. He's never allowing them to really get behind him. They're constantly in front. He's, as you see, he's very bouncy off the ground. He's creating more of a spring-like action and helping to train that spring-like action in his foot and in his ankle so that when he's running, it's not so effortful. He's a little bit more bouncy. So this is a great drill to implement into any of the movement prep or warm-ups that you do when you actually run. Now, once you master this drill, we can then progress to a drill we call a step over. Now, to the naked eye, this almost looks like a high knee drill, but what it's doing is it's getting us more and more comfortable getting our legs in front of our body, working on those front side mechanics. And it's continuing to make us more and more bouncy as well. And it's also working on increasing our stride frequency, which is often a recommendation we give to many of our runners who happen to be maybe overstriders. So Alex is going to give a demonstration here. He's working getting his legs constantly in front of his body. He's really maintaining a high beat. This is going to be pretty tiring after doing this for like 10 yards or so. He's not trying to move forward really quickly. He's just trying to get more strides in a shorter amount of time. Again, it's going to reinforce a lot of stiffness, good stiffness at his foot and ankle to make him more bouncy and explosive, get him comfortable having better front side mechanics, helping to reduce some of that stride length and improve some of that cadence, that stride frequency that we find so helpful for many distance runners. Now, finally, if you have questions about your foot strike position, should I strike on should I hit more of my heel on my midfoot? Should I be more of a forefoot striker? Well, this is a drill that might be for you. So this is our snapback drill. This drill is a drill that's going to help teach you to really strike the ground underneath your body when you're actually running. So we don't have to actually focus on hitting on the front of our foot, on the middle of our foot, on the back of our foot. This drill just lets you focus on where your foot is hitting the ground, which ideally is going to be directly underneath you to create the most efficient stride. And Alex is going to demonstrate it here. So he hits and he sticks. He continues to keep his legs front side on the front of his body, and he makes sure he owns that stance before he moves on to the next repetition. So he's doing it in place here, and then he starts taking it forward.